Hello, folks, and welcome to the Tonight Show with Fat Zach. Today's topic will be the 90s pop culture, music, history, and art. The guests will be Biggie Mitch and Luke Hagen, also known as Lucas Stottle. Here's our host, Fat Zach.
As you've just heard, our first topic is going to be pop culture. So to start off, I'm going to bring in my good friend Biggie Mitch.
Yo, boy. What up, man? What up,
Alright, so first topic, pop culture. How you doing, Biggie Mitch, by the way?
I'm doing Fat Zach.
I hear you. So I like your style. I mean, the pacifier, that's always a good twist.
It's my ice, baby.
I hear you. What are we thinking here? What's fashion like right now? What's your biggest fads?
Man, I like the baggy clothing. I like the bright, vibrant colors. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I left my neon at home. I had to be professional today.
Oh yeah, man. You know, it's what it is.
All right. Let's talk sports for a minute. You hear about I mean, obviously the Bulls are killing right now. MJ, Dennis Rodman. What are you thinking about them? You like the Bulls, or you not a Chicago fan?
I mean, they alright, man. You know.
Yeah. New York.
Meh.
What kind of movies you watch? What do you like in the movie world today?
Alright, man. My favorite movie is Titanic, man.
Titanic. Are you serious?
Man, I know.
Biggie Mitch and in Titanic.
Man, I know. It's just see all them on the screen and just I can't take it, man. It's too bad.
All right. We're gonna have to stop. We'll be right back after a short break. Biggie Mitch, a little emotional about his Titanic. That's one of his favorite. I mean, obviously a classic, big in the 90s. So what kind of trends, fads you've been starting lately, Biggie Mitch?
Man, my newest fad, man. Got my pacifier right here, baby. Love this thing.
Oh yeah, well, why? Just out of curiosity, why are you wearing a pacifier?
Man, you know it's fresh.
It's fresh.
I look good, cuz.
So, what do you think about all these teenagers when they see this on the internet and TV? Because, I mean, obviously both are growing at a crazy rate and becoming more accessible each and every day. What do you think about all these teenagers going to see you on TV and stuff and want to wear that pacifier? Do you like that?
Man, I like that. It just helps my rep. You know what I'm saying?
So, you like your kids wearing a pacifier on their neck?
Oh, yeah, man.
All right.
You know how it is.
So, with TV and stuff like that, obviously kids are staying home, and now, I mean, the Sega's the best, you know what I'm saying?
Don't you say that. Take that back, man. You know Nintendo's
You're not a Sega guy?
You know it's Nintendo.
Nintendo.
They got Mario.
No, Sonic.
Oh, you tell me you wouldn't want to be saving a dame every day of your life? Please, son.
I'm telling you. So, you let your kids play Nintendo, let them stay home all the time?
Yeah, whatever they like.
Man, that's going to ruin, I'm telling you, that's going to come back and bite us in the butt. That's going to ruin our society.
I doubt it, man.
Alright, well, that's about it. That wraps it up for pop culture. We'll be back in just a moment with history.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes, baby. I don't want to hurt nobody, but there is something.
Alright, cool cats. Welcome back to the Tonight Show with Fat Zach. We're going to bring in Luke Hagen, history buff, to discuss some history of the 1990s. He likes to be called Lucas Stottle.
Dang
If
right.
any of y'all are questioning why we're calling him that throughout the Tonight Show. So here we go. Welcome, Luke.
How you doing, Fat Zach?
I'm doing good. We're going to break down the 90s history in a chronological standpoint here. Sorry about my English. We're going to start with the Hubble telescope in 1990. Luke, what do you have to say about that?
Hubble telescope was an amazing piece of machinery. This thing, it was going so fast. It was going 97 minutes every rotation around the Earth. It was going 5 miles per second.
That's insane. 5 miles a second.
5 miles a second. I never heard of something like that. But yeah, it was the first telescope to be launched into space.
That's pretty neat. What kind of images are we seeing? Are we just getting better quality out farther into space? Is that what we're looking at here?
We're getting real far out in there. We're seeing whole new galaxies. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. What about, let's talk about some more world politics here. What do you know about Nelson Mandela being free?
Nelson Mandela, that was crazy. He was in prison in South Africa from 62 all the way up until 1990. This man, he was up against the apartheid government. He didn't like the racial discrimination.
I don't blame him. That's been going on for forever. I'm glad that's finally come to a stop, and they finally stopped that form of government and leadership. Just fun fact here. Recently, at the end of 1990, U.S. President Bush said that, quote, he does not like broccoli and banned it from the Air Force One. And coincidentally, many broccoli producers around the country sent about $7,000 worth of broccoli to the White House.
$7,000.
Can you believe that?
Good Lord, what do you do with all that broccoli?
I don't know. They probably thought they were hiding some bomb in it or something.
I'm sure.
All right, we're going to move on. 1991, world politics again, the collapse of the Soviet Union. What do you know about that?
Not a whole much. I just know that it collapsed.
Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. Like the Soviet Union, our technology collapsed.
Oh, like the Y2K bug.
Easy. We'll get to that later. We're still in 1991.
Yeah.
And speaking of 1991, let's talk on a national standpoint. Operation Desert Storm just come into effect.
Yeah, the Desert Storm. That was crazy. That was when Saddam Hussein sent his troops over into Kuwait because he wanted to just take over, get a little extra land under his belt. But, we wanted our oil interests to keep strong, so we sent our troops over there to protect them.
Right. He was trying to expand into Kuwait and even Saudi Arabia, and we just had to stop to protect our oil. And ends up that we kind of came out on the positive side there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on. 1992 brought the end of the Cold War, and in bigger national news, riots in Los Angeles started to break out from the Rodney King verdict. What do you know about the Rodney King verdict?
I know that 58 were killed and 2,000 were injured, and it was 5 police officers. Back to Rodney King, it was 5 police officers that beat him brutally, and they were tried and acquitted for their wrongdoings.
Right. I mean, total race wars here. It's back to. It's almost like we jumped back in time for a little bit, and we went back to where whites and blacks weren't treated equal. But then, obviously, we see that it's still here today.
It's still prevalent.
It's still prevalent. All right, that wraps it up for 1992. We will be back after a short message.
Yo, this is Biggie Mitch, and all y'all cool cats finna buy my pacifier.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're going to pick up at the year 1993. 1993 was the year of growth, especially in the internet world, as the internet grew exponentially from this year on to about 1997. Luke, would you explain?
Yeah, internet usage doubled every 100 days. And it went from 3 million to 100 million internet users in just like 3 or 4 years, 1993 to 1997.
That's insane. A mere 97 million people began using the internet over this period of time as it became more accessible to them and more affordable.
Yeah, with the use of computers and all that stuff.
Right. All right. A much overlooked happening in national news, but very important, was First World Trade Center bombing. Would you like to further explain on that?
Yeah, something that nobody really knows about because of 9/11 that happened. We'll get to that later, right?
Right.
Yeah, but first bombing, it was a group of terrorists, and they tried to knock over the North Tower into the South Tower, killing thousands of people. But what had actually happened was when they drove their truck bomb into the parking garage underneath the North Tower. It only killed 6 people and injured thousands.
Okay, so I mean, not as big of a deal, but still an act of terrorism.
It was still a very large act of terrorism,
right.
killing. 6 people is still 6 people.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Next, earlier we talked about how Nelson Mandela was freed in 1990, and now we see Mandela take the helm. He's the president now of South Africa. Do you have any comments on that?
I think it's great that someone can, change something like that for the better. With the racial discrimination back, like how America was, it's a lot better now.
Right. Another big thing that I've looked into a lot because I'm a sports guy is O.J. Simpson arrested for double murder in 1994.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah. So I mean, he's not charged, but he's blamed for this double murder, and he runs off and he writes a letter to his friends after he misses his court date. It sounded like a suicide note, so he took off on a car